Welcome to another interview with the Wild Women Symposium facilitator team. My name is Suzanne Wagner, and I'm one of the founders of the Wild Women Symposium, which is an incredible experiential event where women get to come and try out a lot of different classes to explore their sexuality, their spirituality, and parts of their life. Today I have with me Kim Page, who is a dear friend of mine, who is a therapist, and she is an amazing facilitator, and she is going to be teaching one of the classes at the Wild Women Symposium. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Suzanne. How are you?
I am great. So now, I love your work. I have been exposed to your work. I learned so much about myself in doing the work with you. So tell us about what you do, because I love the mixture of things that you have pulled together.
Yes, thank you. You know, the work that I do, I think the best way to really talk about it is that for most of us, we're going through this process where something inside of us is beginning to stir. And this is really what draws, I think, the women to the Wild Women Symposium is, we can't quite put our finger on it, but something is stirring inside, and there's a sense of being dissatisfied and a sense of seeking. So traditionally, therapy has worked with that from an angle that that's some kind of an illness or there's something wrong. And so my perspective, the place that I come from, talks about that there's something waking up, that what we have to do is start to shed all the layers that we've been programmed with throughout our lifetimes, right? And begin to really understand kind of what that piece is and essentially who we are.
Well, and you do an interesting thing. To me, you blend psychology with sort of an intuitive reading of the Akashic Records, and that was one of the things that you did with me that was really fascinating. What I love about your work is that there are many times that you can go to a teacher or a guru or a facilitator, and I've spent my life doing this just as you have, and you get a piece and this piece and that piece. One of the things that was so fascinating in having you do this session with me was that you pulled a whole bunch of pieces together and actually kind of formed them into a three-dimensional picture that suddenly felt very, very congruent and made a tremendous amount of sense. So sometimes teachers give you a piece, but they speak so esoterically that it's hard to apply it in your life or to understand how to work with it. And what you actually did was you explained the pattern and what the value of the pattern was, and then the inherent gifts in the pattern, but then also the challenges of that pattern and how to work within that particular thing. So describe that from your own viewpoint. I mean, I did it from my angle, but I'm sure you have a philosophy in how you work with it.
Absolutely, and thank you for sharing that, because that was actually, you really captured what we're doing. The biggest piece that most of us are basically trying to do is we're really just trying to get what we want from our lives. We're trying to really manifest like a whole new reality, something we've never done before, kind of push ourselves to our edge. But most of us feel like we've got some kind of a anchor around our leg and we can't reach it. So as I pull together what I call a soul profile reading, that it really addresses all the pieces that you are at a core divine level. So this is before you were programmed to operate in life by shoulds or wants or desires that other people told you that you needed to have in order to be successful. So we strip all that down and look at who you are at the core. And I talk about this as, it's like your original intention, if you will. And it's the reason and the way that you want to experience yourself. So once we discover what this is, the trick is that we've got to really align with who we are at that deep level. Because if we keep operating outside of that, then we tend to create a lot of blocks, a lot of restrictions, and a lot of negativity in our life. So after we know who we are, then we have to understand, how do we align with that? How do we bring this brilliant divinity that is the core of us practically into the different aspects of our lives. And so obviously one aspect, and a big aspect that I work with women on, is how do they bring this into their purpose, if you will, into a monetizable business or a monetizable healing approach, something that they can really maximize this gift in their own life and live more and more into that gift. Right? Or another way that we talk about it is, how do you bring who you are and this divinity into your relationships? So you can go from that really ego-based relationship of who's right, who's wrong, and whose fault it is, into something that's more soul connected, something that's more soul supportive, where both partners are expanding and growing and just choosing into a bigger vision that they create together. So the alignment and the practical application is really the only way that we create change in our lives. And it takes it beyond just kind of knowing in a vision, but a big sense of how to be that person and how to really get what you want.
I love that. I mean, that's really what it's all about. I mean, you know, I love the Wild Women Symposium model, because in this model, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give women opportunities to find their authentic self and to find who they are. And I think we're in a society where people want to be like this movie star or this actor or this character in Star Trek, right? And instead, I think we should be searching for that deepest authentic expression of who we are. And you and I kind of do similar work from two different sides. I mean, you're doing it from this beautiful side of blending psychology with the intuitive qualities of an Akashic Records reading. And what I like about what you do is that, you know, when somebody hears in your words something that resonates with their core essential self, they like wake up. And they rise and easily, fluidly step into that because it's recognizable. And, you know, I'm always doing this dance in my own life about the difference between striving and arriving, right? And so in that dance of striving, you're kind of trying to fit yourself into something else, some other box. And when you actually just drop into your authentic self, all it is about arriving and coming from who you really genuinely are. And that's what your work does, is it really gives permission for them to step into that authentic space without any need for struggle, and a place of acceptance, and there's a peacefulness with it too.
Absolutely. And I agree. I think that what's fun about knowing you, doing the Wild Women Symposium with you and all the facilitators, is that we're each helping with this bigger mission of authentic soul expression, and we're using our gifts to do that, so it's a little different. So there are all these flavors of women that you can connect with, and there's definitely, for the participants there's definitely a mentor there for them if they're ready to be on the path. But what I like about what you said is a lot of my clients will say to me, like, they lovingly call me the soul whisperer, because as they come into the session or they come to one of my workshops and classes, that what happens is I start talking to their soul, to this deeper essence of themselves. And something inside of them wakes up and is noticed and is seen. And for many of them, they realize that that's the one core piece that they have been craving, and that they have searched many arenas or taken many medications or whatever it looks like to try to unlock that level of peace and contentment. And it's really the first step to really create a life that you essentially kind of want to get out of bed for, that you can't wait to get out of bed for, that you're ready to face your day and achieve the unlimited possibilities. So it's a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful experience. And at the symposium, what I loved about our last symposium is how, like, you have an amazing ability to hold and open women so that we can fully and completely get into the feminine nature. And it's just one of the things that for many of us, we're just working too hard, we're striving too much, or we're just doing tasks. And so to be in a safe group of women and just open is such a beautiful experience. And even if they just came and that was the only thing they took from it, it's really an amazing experience. You align with it and you take it into your life.
Thanks. I mean, that was the point. It's like to create a container where the women can explore themselves and to play, and that it's no longer about egos and it's no longer about competition, but it's a place of empowerment so that every woman is there, and in them opening, they're actually creating more and more permission for other women to open and be that authentic self. And I'm excited. So you're going to be teaching this wonderful class that's going to be at the symposium. And it's about, like, you know, unblocking your true abundance and stepping into your soul's purpose. And so tell us about this class.
I'm really excited to teach this class. You know, I think one of the biggest secrets out there is, you know, what are my gifts and how do I create abundance from my gifts? And, you know, a lot of women are either doing their gifts, and they've been doing their gifts for a long time, but they really feel like there's a next level for them. So essentially in the class, I'm going to talk about, like, what is that key to unlocking your ability to create an abundant life, and that absolutely comes from, you know, the gifts that you were given and how to actually bring those gifts out and what they are. You know, sometimes we can spend a lot of time trying to do things because they look cool or because somebody else is doing it and we love what they're doing, or because somebody told us that was the direction to go in. But we have to work really hard to keep something like that up because it's not something we're already naturally abundant in. In fact, it often becomes something that we're working on or working towards or that we want to master. But it takes a lot of energy to generate it and then to give it to the world, to generate it and then to give it to the world. So it can often be a really exhausting process. So what everybody's going to discover when they come to the class is that they're going to discover their gifts. And I talk about them as an archetype because it's just a really easy symbol to identify with. You know, what an archetype is essentially something you transform through because it gives you an ideal that you're striving for. So they'll learn about this archetype and they'll discover what they are naturally abundant in, something they can give all day long, something they never run out of, something that, like, if at midnight an idea pops in their head, they're more excited to get out of bed and write about it or jot it down than they are to sleep. And so we call that passion. We call that your purpose. And it's really a sweet financial spot to be in. No matter if you're working for yourself or you're a leader in the industry, it's a sweet space to be thriving in. So I hope that makes sense on what archetypes are and how we're really going to unlock this abundance.
It sounds like a wonderful class. I'm really excited about it. And this is one of the reasons that we do the videos, because I really believe that women are informed by other women, and sometimes you need to see another woman and see her energy and hear her voice and hear her speak, and then you actually can get an impression almost of that teacher, and if you can vibrate or align with them in the class. And so I really appreciate, you know, you doing these interviews. And again, we love having you at the symposium, and we've really enjoyed your presence. And you're always such a wonderful contribution because, you know, you come from such a strong, psychologically sound background, and it's so solid and it's so stable. And yet you show the women that they can be this metaphysical energy. They can be in alignment with their feminine flow at the same time. And so I know that you have a website. Do you want to give them your website?
Yeah, absolutely. The website is called thesoulfulmoneycoach.com. And so it's a site where they can go to and I often have like a free report that they can download, or some kind of a freebie that they can take away. In fact, I believe the free report that's on there now is called Stop Hitting the Snooze Button on Your Wake-Up Call. And it's just an amazing compilation of how, so you love that title.
I love that title.
But it's a great, it's a great compilation of how this process of awakening comes through us, and it's this kind of energetic rush that you don't really know what to do with. And so oftentimes what we'll do is find a way to hit snooze, because we really are brilliant. And that's the piece of psychology that I really bring to the table, is that our mind is brilliantly designed to keep us safe enough that we won't tread out onto a new divine and abundant path. And so as we're doing this work, we've got to know the mind tricks that are trying to keep us safe, but not necessarily letting us be happy.
I love that.
So that would be a great report.
Yeah, that would be a great report. I'm going to Google it right after this. I'm gonna pull it up for myself. It sounds like a great one. So once again, this is Kim Page, who will be teaching a beautiful class for the women at the Spring Wild Women's Symposium. You can go on the Wild Women's Symposium site and click on the Eventbrite tab, and you can buy tickets right now, and you can go on our website also, and you can see all the different videos for all the different facilitators. And it was so wonderful to talk to you again, Kim. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
I just really want to invite the women to come out and to enjoy the experience. It's one of those things, it's easy to kind of put yourself on the back burner and to not take the action, buy the ticket. It's easy to procrastinate. It's easy to put things off. And what I can tell you is, as I shared, with my own tribe last fall about coming to the symposium, and then I shared with them afterwards. And even when they seen me after and they could see the shift, they all wished that they would have acted on that inspiration. So I just want to invite them. Just get your ticket, get everything set. I promise you, if you take action on it, it will pull together in a beautiful way for you. And then you can come and hang out with us. We're going to have a lot of fun.
And we're a lot of fun.
We are.
And what's great about the Wild Women's Symposium is that the facilitators are given the option to participate in other classes. So you're going to see this model that we believe in, that the teacher is the student, is the teacher is the student. And so, not only are you going to get to do these great classes, but these amazing facilitators are going to be in those classes reflecting beautiful things back to you. And so it's this beautiful giving and receiving of the divine feminine, and to recognize that in each woman is a beautiful teacher, and that we all have something to teach each other. So thanks, Kim, and I will see you at the Wild Women's Symposium.
Sounds good.